The night was quiet at Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. Dr. Alice Warren sat alone in the control room, her eyes fixed on the screens in front of her. The soft hum of computers filled the air as she sipped her cold coffee. She had been working the night shift for 3 weeks straight, looking for patterns in the cosmic noise from a star system 47 light-years away. Most of her colleagues thought she was wasting her time. This particular star system wasn't special, just another sun-like star with a few planets that probably couldn't support life. But Alice had a feeling about it that she couldn't explain. The computer beeped. Alice sat up straight, nearly spilling her coffee. A new signal had appeared, stronger than anything she had seen before. It wasn't random noise. It had structure. Mathematical patterns that repeated in perfect sequence. "This can't be right," she whispered to herself. Her hands trembled as she saved the data and ran it through the analysis program again. The result was the same. The signal contained prime numbers, the value of pi, and complex equations that couldn't possibly occur naturally. Alice picked up the phone and called Dr. Henry Mitchell, her closest colleague and friend. "Henry, you need to come see this now," she said. "It's 3 a.m., Alice," he groaned. "I found something. Something big." 40 minutes later, Henry stood behind Alice, his eyes wide with disbelief. "This is impossible," he said, but the evidence was right in front of them. The signal was clear, consistent, and definitely artificial. "We need to tell someone," Alice said. "Who?" "The director. The government. The whole world will want to know about this." "Let's start with the director." By noon the next day, the observatory was filled with scientists, government officials, and military personnel. The signal had been confirmed by 3 other observatories around the world. It was real. Humanity had received its first message from an alien civilization. Commander Peter Collins arrived from NASA headquarters. He had been quickly appointed to lead what they were calling the First Contact Task Force. A tall man with short gray hair and serious eyes, he brought order to the chaos. "What do we know about the message?" he asked during the first official meeting. Alice stood up. "It's not just mathematical sequences. There are what appear to be technical specifications for some kind of device. The signal uses constants that are slightly different from our own." "Different how?" asked Commander Collins. "Their value of pi is the same, but the way they express Planck's constant and other physical measurements suggests they might perceive reality differently than we do," explained Dr. Mitchell. "It's as if they're using a different reference point for the basic forces of the universe." A woman from the United Nations spoke up. "Could it be a message meant for someone else? Maybe they weren't trying to contact Earth at all." Alice nodded. "That's what I believe. The signal wasn't directed specifically at our solar system. We might have intercepted a message meant for another civilization." Commander Collins frowned. "If that's true, should we respond at all?" The room fell silent. Everyone understood the weight of the question. Answering might alert an advanced civilization to Earth's existence. There was no way to know if that would be good or bad. "I think we should," Alice said firmly. "This is the greatest opportunity in human history. We can't ignore it out of fear." After weeks of debate, world leaders agreed. They would answer the signal. Scientists worked day and night to craft a message containing Earth's location, basic human biological information, and samples of human culture and knowledge. The message was transmitted using the powerful radio telescope array in New Mexico. The signal beamed out into the cosmos, carrying humanity's voice to the stars. No one suspected that by answering a call not meant for them, they had just changed humanity's destiny forever. "I'll write part 1 of your story in approximately 670 words using simple, basic English in third-person style, without any headings. I'll create this as a separate document. I've created the first part of your story in a separate document. It's written in simple, basic English using third-person style as requested, and comes in at about 670 words. The story begins with Dr. Alice Warren discovering an unusual signal at the Arecibo Observatory. After confirming her findings with Dr. Henry Mitchell, They alert authorities, leading to the formation of a first contact task force led by Commander Peter Collins. The team realizes the signal might not have been intended for Earth at all, but after much debate, humanity decides to respond anyway, unknowingly changing their destiny forever. The narrative sets up the premise of your story while keeping the language accessible and straightforward. I've avoided using headings as requested and kept the third-person perspective throughout. Would you like me to make any adjustments to this first part? Or would you like me to continue with part 2 of the story? The Voxeri ship extended a crystal bridge that connected to the International Space Station. It created a sealed pathway between the two vessels, glowing with soft blue light. The air inside smelled faintly of cinnamon. Commander Collins led his team toward the meeting point. Dr. Warren walked beside him, her heart racing with excitement. Dr. Mitchell followed, carefully recording everything with a small camera. Colonel Martinez kept his hand near his sidearm, despite orders not to bring weapons. "Remember," Commander Collins said quietly, "we represent all of humanity now." They entered a round chamber where the walls shifted colors like soap bubbles. 3 Voxeri waited for them. The aliens stood nearly 8 feet tall, their crystal bodies catching the light and breaking it into rainbows. They had no faces, but the front of their upper sections glowed brighter when they spoke. "I am Resonance of Distant Stars," said the tallest one. Its voice sounded like wind chimes. "I speak for the Voxeri Collective." Commander Collins introduced his team. The aliens had no visible reaction, but the colors within their bodies swirled faster. "You have many questions," Resonance said. "We will answer them truthfully." "Who are the architects?" Dr. Warren asked immediately. Resonance's body pulsed with golden light. The architects were the first advanced civilization in this part of the galaxy. They discovered how to create stable wormhole corridors between star systems. They shared this knowledge with younger species, including the Voxeri. "What happened to them?" asked Dr. Mitchell. "They disappeared approximately 15,000 of your years ago," Resonance replied. Their final message spoke of a great discovery about the universe's nature. They said they needed to transcend physical form to understand it fully. Dr. Grant, the linguist, stepped forward. "And the signal we detected? One of many automated beacons the architects left behind. It contains instructions for accessing the wormhole network. It was meant for any civilization that evolved in that star system." Commander Collins frowned. "But no civilization exists there. The planets in that system can't support life as we know it." The 3 Voxeri turned toward each other, their crystal bodies making soft tinkling sounds as they moved. They seemed to be having a private conversation. Finally, Resonance turned back to the humans. The architects' predictions were not always accurate. They expected life to evolve there, but it did not. Your detection and response to this signal was unexpected. "What happens now?" Commander Collins asked. "According to protocols established by the architects, any species that correctly responds to a beacon must be evaluated to determine if they are ready to join the galactic community." Colonel Martinez stepped forward. "Evaluated by whom?" "You?" "Yes," Resonance answered. "The process is necessary. Species that access the wormhole network too early often destroy themselves. The technological leap is too great without proper preparation. And if we fail your evaluation..." Colonel Martinez pressed. Resonance's colors darkened slightly. "Then Earth would be quarantined until you mature further." The meeting continued for hours. The Voxeri explained the history of their species and others that used the wormhole network. They described planets with oceans of liquid metal and skies filled with floating cities. They spoke of ancient ruins on distant worlds, left by the architects. After the humans returned to their quarters on the space station, Colonel Martinez gathered them in a room he had checked for listening devices. "They're hiding something," he said firmly. "Why would such an advanced civilization follow rules made by a species that disappeared thousands of years ago? And why respond so quickly to our message?" Dr. Warren had noticed something too. They seemed surprised that we could decode the signal, almost worried. "We need to be careful," Commander Collins agreed. "We don't know their true intentions." Outside the window, the massive Voxeri ship hung against the blackness of space, beautiful and alien. As the humans watched, patterns of light raced across its crystal surface, like thoughts moving through a brain. Dr. Mitchell put what they were all feeling into words. "We're like children who answered a phone call meant for adults. And now we're trying to have a conversation we don't fully understand." 2 weeks passed. The Voxeri shared limited technology with the humans and showed them holographic maps of the galaxy. They taught them about alien species they might someday meet. Dr. Mitchell spent most of his time studying the architect technology the Voxeri had shown them. One night, he called the team to his small lab on the space station. "Look at this," he said, pointing to his computer screen. "These architect designs contain elements identical to theoretical models I was working on before we ever detected the signal." Dr. Warren leaned closer. "What does that mean?" "It means they're tailored for human understanding," Dr. Mitchell said, "as if they were designed specifically for us to comprehend. That shouldn't be possible if these are truly ancient alien artifacts." Back on Earth, problems were growing. China launched its own rocket, planning to send representatives to the space station. Russia threatened to use nuclear weapons if they were left out of the alien discussions. A group calling themselves Human Sovereignty bombed a NASA facility, claiming aliens would destroy human independence. Commander Collins received daily reports of these troubles. The stress showed on his face. One evening, Dr. Warren found him alone in the observation room, staring at Earth. "Beautiful, isn't it?" she said. Collins nodded. "And fragile. Alice, I don't think we're getting the whole truth here. I feel like we're pieces in a game we don't understand." She put her hand on his shoulder. "I feel it too." Their moment was interrupted when Dr. Grant burst into the room. "I found something in the Voxeri language patterns," she said excitedly. "Earth's supercomputers have been analyzing every conversation. There's a hidden layer of meaning in their speech, a code." "What does it say?" Commander Collins asked. "It's not complete yet," Dr. Grant explained, "but it suggests the Voxeri aren't united in their approach to humanity. Some faction is trying to warn us about something." Meanwhile, Colonel Martinez had convinced Mission Control to let him run a systems test that allowed him to secretly scan the Voxeri ship. When the results came in, he immediately took them to Commander Collins. "Their ship is much older than they claimed," he reported, "and it shows damage consistent with weapons fire. These aren't peaceful explorers. They've been in battles." As the human team became more suspicious, they noticed one Voxeri that seemed different from the others. Smaller than Resonance, with colors that shifted to soft purples and greens, this Voxeri would sometimes linger after meetings, watching the humans with what seemed like curiosity. On the 20th day of contact, this Voxeri approached Dr. Warren when she was alone in the science lab. "I am called Whisper Between Thoughts," it said in a voice quieter than the other Voxeri. "I must speak with all of you. In secret." Dr. Warren gathered the team in a maintenance room that Colonel Martinez assured them was safe from alien surveillance. Whisper's crystal body dimmed to a soft glow as it spoke. "The architects did not transcend," Whisper said. "They were hunted to extinction by something we call the Void. The wormhole network is not a gift. It is a trap." The humans exchanged shocked glances. "The Void is an ancient entity that consumes advanced civilizations," Whisper continued. "My people encountered it centuries ago. We survived only by agreeing to help it find more prey through the wormhole network." "Why are you telling us this?" Commander Collins demanded. "Because your response to the architect signal contained something unique," Whisper replied. "A mathematical insight my species has never seen before. A new approach to multidimensional physics that might be used as a weapon against the Void." Colonel Martinez's hand moved to his sidearm. "So you want to use us to fight your battles?" "No." Whisper's colors pulsed urgently. "I want to help you save yourselves. Resonance has already contacted the Void about Earth's existence. It comes for you now. Dr. Warren felt cold fear spread through her body. How long do we have? 3 of your months, perhaps less. Outside the window, Earth continued its peaceful spin, unaware that its first contact with alien life had just become a death sentence. The team didn't know whether to trust Whisper's warnings. Dr. Warren developed a series of tests using astronomical data to check its claims. If the architects were destroyed 15,000 years ago, their colony worlds should show evidence of catastrophic events around that time, she explained to Commander Collins. The results confirmed Whisper's story. Star systems where the architects had supposedly built colonies showed signs of massive energy discharges, consistent with planetary destruction. The pattern of destruction formed a straight line through the wormhole network, as if something had methodically hunted the architects. "We need to warn Earth," Commander Collins said. But before they could send their findings home, Resonance called for an emergency meeting. The main Voxery's crystal body pulsed with angry red light as it faced the human team. "Your evaluation is complete," Resonance announced coldly. "Humanity has failed. You are too deceptive, too curious about things that do not concern you. For your own protection, Earth will be quarantined." Colonel Martinez stepped forward. "You mean imprisoned?" "Your species is not ready for the wider galaxy," Resonance said. "The quarantine is necessary." As the humans argued with Resonance, Dr. Warren noticed Whisper hovering near the exit. The smaller Voxery's colors were changing rapidly, a sign of distress. That evening, Whisper came to their quarters. "Resonance knows I have spoken to you. The official delegation plans to leave your solar system tomorrow. They will tell the Void exactly where to find Earth." "We have to stop them," Colonel Martinez said. "You cannot," Whisper replied. "But I can help you prepare. I will give you data about the wormhole network and the Void. You might find a way to defend yourselves." Dr. Mitchell looked doubtful. "How can we fight something that destroyed a civilization far more advanced than our own?" "The human mind works differently than any species I have encountered," Whisper said. "Your mathematics, your physics, they take approaches the Voxery would never consider. That is why your response to the architect's signal was so surprising. You saw patterns we have missed for centuries." Whisper gave them a crystal data storage device. "This contains everything I know about the Void and the architects. It also holds coordinates for a hidden architect facility on your moon. The architects built backup systems in case of emergency. This one might still function." "Why are you helping us?" Dr. Warren asked. Whisper's colors shifted to deep blue. "Some Voxery believe our deal with the Void was wrong. We have led many species to their doom. Perhaps humans will be the ones to finally end this cycle." Early the next morning, alarms blared throughout the space station. The Voxery ship was powering up its engines. Resonance had discovered Whisper's betrayal. "We must return to Earth now," Commander Collins ordered. "Prepare the shuttle." As they rushed to the docking bay, they saw Whisper being surrounded by other Voxery. Its crystal body was cracking under some invisible pressure. "Go," Whisper called to them. "I will delay them." The shuttle launched just as the Voxery ship began to move. Through the viewport, Dr. Warren watched Whisper's body shatter into thousands of glittering pieces. The fragments floated in space, creating a beautiful, tragic cloud that briefly interfered with the larger ship's sensors. The delay gave the humans enough time to escape. As they raced back to Earth, Dr. Mitchell examined the data Whisper had given them. "This is incredible," he said. "The physics in here, it builds on theories I've been working on, but takes them in directions I never imagined." "Can we use it to defend Earth?" Commander Collins asked. Dr. Mitchell looked up, his eyes shining with a mix of fear and excitement. "Maybe. But we'll need every scientist on the planet working together. And we'll need to go to the moon." As Earth grew larger in their viewport, they could see the blue-green planet still spinning peacefully in the darkness. Billions of people going about their daily lives, unaware that in 3 months, an ancient cosmic horror would arrive to consume them. We answered a call that wasn't meant for us, Dr. Warren said quietly. Now we have to deal with the consequences. News of the true threat spread quickly across Earth. For the first time in history, nations set aside their differences to face a common enemy. The United Nations created a unified defense plan, pooling resources and scientific talent. Dr. Mitchell led a team working on weapons based on the physics insights from Whisper's data. These weapons targeted the higher dimensions where the void existed, potentially disrupting its ability to feed on consciousness. The void isn't just a physical entity, Dr. Mitchell explained during a global briefing. It consumes information, knowledge, and creativity. It feeds on the minds of advanced civilizations. Meanwhile, Dr. Warren focused on locating the hidden architect facility on the moon. Using telescopes and orbital cameras, her team found unusual energy readings near the lunar South Pole. "There's something there," she told Commander Collins. "Something big, buried under the surface." A joint international mission was quickly organized. Commander Collins would lead the lunar expedition, which included Dr. Warren, Dr. Mitchell, and specialists from various countries. The night before launch, Dr. Warren found Commander Collins in the Mission Control Center, staring at the latest images of the moon. "Scared?" she asked. "Terrified," he admitted, "but not of going to the moon. I'm afraid we won't find what we need up there." "Whisper believed in us," Dr. Warren said. "It gave its life because it thought humans could defeat the void." Collins turned to face her. "Why us? What makes humans so special?" "I don't know," she replied honestly, "but I'm starting to think our greatest strength might be that we weren't supposed to be part of this story at all. We're the unexpected variable." 3 days later, their ship landed near the lunar South Pole. The team wore bulky spacesuits as they set up drilling equipment. According to Whisper's data, the architect facility was buried half a mile below the surface. It took 12 hours of drilling before they broke through. A dark tunnel opened beneath them, leading deep into the moon. The walls were smooth and perfectly straight, clearly artificial. "This wasn't built by humans," Colonel Martinez said, stating the obvious as they descended. At the bottom of the tunnel, they found a sealed door covered in strange symbols. Dr. Grant studied them through her helmet visor. "These match patterns in the original signal we received," she said. "I think it's asking for a response." Dr. Mitchell connected a small device to the door. It projected the mathematical sequence Earth had sent in its very first reply to the architect beacon. The door slid open silently. Inside was a vast chamber filled with gleaming technology. At the center stood a crystal platform similar to Voxeri design, but more elegant and complex. "It's an interface," Dr. Mitchell said, consulting Whisper's data. "The architects built it to be used by less advanced species in case of emergency." They activated the platform, and holographic displays filled the room. Star maps, technical diagrams, and alien text surrounded them. The interface responded to human commands as if it had been designed for them. After hours of exploration, they discovered the facility contained 3 crucial elements. First, a shield generator capable of hiding Earth from the void's perception. Second, a weapon prototype based on principles similar to what Dr. Mitchell had been developing. Third, a star map showing other species that might join an alliance against the void. "This is exactly what we needed," Commander Collins said, his voice tight with emotion. As they prepared to return to Earth with their discoveries, a message came through from Mission Control. Telescopes had detected the Voxeri ship leaving the solar system at extreme speed. It was headed for the nearest wormhole access point. "How long do we have?" Commander Collins asked. "Based on Whisper's data," Dr. Mitchell replied, "less than 3 months before the void arrives." Back on Earth, Colonel Martinez coordinated global defense preparations. Every telescope and sensor array was directed to the expected arrival coordinates. Military forces worldwide prepared for a threat they could barely comprehend. The lunar team raced to get the architect technology back to Earth. They knew the next few weeks would determine whether humanity survived or joined the architects in extinction. We answered a signal that wasn't meant for us, Commander Collins said as they lifted off from the moon. Now we need to make sure we're ready for what comes next. As the deadline approached, Earth achieved what would normally take decades of technological progress. The Lunar Architect facility was partially activated, projecting a shield that masked Earth's technological signatures. Dr. Mitchell's team successfully tested their dimensional disruption weapons in remote desert areas. Dr. Warren worked day and night analyzing data about the void. It doesn't feed on organic matter, she explained during a briefing. It consumes information, knowledge, and creativity. It's attracted to complex thought patterns. Global preparations continued. Backup servers stored human knowledge in shielded underground facilities. Artists created works meant to last beyond the potential destruction. Families said goodbye to loved ones who volunteered for the front lines of defense. Commander Collins and Dr. Warren found a rare quiet moment together on the roof of the research facility. They watched the sunset, perhaps one of the last peaceful evenings they would experience. "I never thought first contact would lead to this," Collins said. Dr. Warren took his hand. "We still have a chance. The architects fought the void for thousands of years before they fell." "But we're not the architects," Collins replied. "We're just humans who answered a phone call meant for someone else." "Maybe that's our advantage," she said. "The void won't expect what we have planned." 2 days later, the sensors detected it, a distortion in space approaching from the direction the Voxeri had departed. The void had arrived. It wasn't what anyone expected. Rather than a fleet or a massive entity, it appeared as a perfect blackness, a complete absence that bent light around it. Conventional sensors couldn't detect it directly. They could only track its effects on surrounding space. The first attack came without warning. Several orbital platforms went silent simultaneously. When visual confirmation was obtained, the satellites appeared intact but completely inert, as if something had extracted their energy and information in an instant. Earth launched its first counterattack, sending drones equipped with Mitchell's dimensional weapons. They appeared to slow the void's advance but not stop it. The entity adapted quickly, becoming harder to target. "It's learning," Dr. Mitchell said, his voice tight with tension. "It's feeding on our technology, using it to become stronger." Analysis of attack patterns revealed the void wasn't simply destroying, it was extracting information. It targeted data centers, research facilities, and locations with high concentrations of human knowledge. As the void approached Earth's atmosphere, Dr. Warren made a startling realization. "I know what makes humans unique," she said, rushing into the command center. "It's our conceptual diversity." She explained her theory to the team. The Voxeri think in unified patterns, crystalline and structured. But human consciousness is chaotic, contradictory, and innovative. We contain multitudes of conflicting ideas. This mental diversity is what the void seeks to consume. "How does that help us?" Colonel Martinez asked. "It's not just feeding, it's processing information," Dr. Warren said. "What if we give it more than it can handle? A conceptual overload." Dr. Warren proposed a desperate plan. Instead of fighting conventionally, they would feed the void a carefully constructed stream of information, a conceptual Trojan horse. They would transmit data from the architect facility, modified with human insights, directly at the void. "We'll give it everything," she explained. "Art, science, philosophy, mathematics, all structured according to architect principles, but infused with human contradictions and creativity." The plan required a dangerous mission. Someone would need to take a shuttle equipped with the modified transmitter directly into the void's event horizon. Commander Collins volunteered before anyone else could speak. "No," Dr. Warren protested, grabbing his arm. "We need you here." "This is a one-way trip," Collins said gently. "And it's my responsibility. I led us into this from the beginning." As preparations for the mission began, satellite imagery showed the void hovering over the Atlantic Ocean, a perfect disk of darkness blotting out the stars. It seemed to be gathering strength for its final assault on humanity. The end was coming, but perhaps not the end the Void expected. The shuttle was ready, small and fast. It carried no weapons, only a powerful transmitter containing humanity's greatest achievements and most provocative questions. Music, art, science, philosophy, and mathematics, all structured using the unique physics insights from the Architect facility. The transmitter will activate automatically when you cross the Void's boundary, Dr. Mitchell explained as Commander Collins prepared for launch. After that, we don't know what will happen. Dr. Warren stood nearby, fighting back tears. The night before, she and Collins had finally acknowledged their feelings for each other, knowing it might be their only chance. "You don't have to do this," she said quietly. Collins smiled. "Someone does, and I started us down this path when I decided to answer that signal." The launch was simple and without ceremony. The small shuttle rose quickly through the atmosphere, leaving Earth behind. As Collins approached the Void, he opened a communication channel to Mission Control. "I can see it clearly now," he reported. "It's like looking at a perfect circle of nothingness. Stars just disappear behind it." On screens around the world, people watched as the shuttle moved closer to the darkness. Collins' voice came through one last time. "Remember, we weren't the intended audience either, but sometimes the message finds the right recipient anyway." Then the shuttle crossed the boundary and disappeared. For several agonizing hours, nothing happened. The Void remained stationary above the Atlantic Ocean, a perfect disk of darkness blotting out the stars. People prayed, held loved ones close, and waited for the end. Then, gradually, observers noticed something unprecedented. The Void was changing. Pinpricks of light appeared within its darkness, like stars being born in a night sky. Dr. Warren, monitoring from the command center, detected signals emanating from within the Void, fragments of human culture and knowledge, but transformed, evolved. Music mixed with mathematics, art blended with physics, poetry interwoven with quantum theories. "It's not just consuming," she whispered in awe. "It's processing, learning, becoming something new." 3 days after Collins' sacrifice, the Void began to dissipate. In its place remained a swirling nebula of dark matter and energy, periodically emitting complex signals on frequencies matching those used by the architects. As astronomers studied this phenomenon, they realized the signals were spreading, activating dormant architect facilities throughout nearby star systems. The wormhole network began to reconfigure itself, no longer a trap but as a genuine transportation system. 1 year later, humanity had begun to explore nearby star systems using the reactivated network. They discovered other young species, similarly contacted after responding to signals not meant for them. Together, they formed the foundation of a new galactic community. The nebula where the Void had transformed was now called Collins' Cradle. It appeared to be nurturing something into existence, perhaps a new form of consciousness combining elements of the Void, humanity, and the architects. Dr. Warren led the research team studying the nebula. She had never fully recovered from losing Collins, but she found purpose in understanding what he had helped create. On the anniversary of first contact, she visited the memorial built for Commander Collins. It stood on a cliff overlooking the Atlantic, where the Void had once hovered. As she placed flowers at the base of the monument, her communication device chimed. A message had arrived on a frequency only she would recognize, one she and Collins had used privately during the crisis. The message contained just 3 words: "I am listening." With shaking hands, she typed a response: "Peter, is that you?" The reply came almost instantly. "Not exactly. More than before. Different now. But still me. Still us. All of us." Dr. Warren looked up at the night sky, tears streaming down her face. Somewhere up there, something new was being born. Not human. Not Void. Not architect. Something that had never existed before. The signal wasn't for mankind, but they answered anyway. And in doing so, they didn't just save themselves. They transformed the conversation entirely, creating something wondrous and unexpected in the vastness of space.